Hello and welcome to CIS 4510. This session will explain the importance of project procurement management and the increasing use of outsourcing for information technology projects. In addition, it will describe the work involved in planning purchases and acquisitions for projects, the contents of procurement management plan, and contract statement of work and calculations involved in the make or buy analysis. To understand the importance of project procurement management, we need first to understand the meaning of procurement. Procurement is the process of acquiring goods or services from an outside source. Other terms might be used in companies like purchasing or outsourcing. Experts predict that global spending on computer software and services will continue to grow. The offshore sourcing or outsourcing continues to be a debate between people where they are asking, does outsourcing help their country or not? Especially if you are outsourcing offshore. Some companies prefer not to outsource to other countries, while other companies look at the cost savings as their first priority. Although most companies do some sort of outsourcing to meet their IT needs, such as cloud applications or data warehousing or IT support or database management, uh, but most of these services are within the same country. For example, US companies try to spend their IT money within the US mostly for security, availability, reliability, and quality reasons. Some of these jobs could be temporary but can provide some experience to move workforce to a permanent job position. In the US, temporary positions or temporary workforce continues to grow as people work for temporary jobs agencies so they can get the experience or gain the experience to move to other stable jobs. The question is why to outsource? Companies outsource to reduce both the fixed and recurrent cost. For example, the initial cost of setting up a call center and the recurrent cost of operating that center. Also, to allow the client organization to focus on its core business competencies, for example, concentrating on patient care while an experienced company of IT will concentrate on the IT related issues. Uh, Also, to access skills and technologies that are not available within the organization to provide flexibility for the company to choose the vendor they want and the service that fits the most. And of course, to increase the accountability through binding contracts that will state what should be delivered as a service and or as physical goods or products. Now let's go back to the title of this chapter, which is Project Procurement Management. Uh, To define that, it is managing the process of acquiring goods and services for a project from outside the performing organization. Actually, project procurement management includes the following processes. Planning, purchases, and acquisition, which is determining what to procure, when, and how. Planning contracting, which is describing requirements for the products or services desired from the procurement and identifying potential sources or sellers, contractors, suppliers, providers who provide the goods and services to other organizations. Requesting seller responses, which is obtaining information, quotes, bids, offers, or proposals from sellers as appropriate. Selecting the seller, and we have like a selection criteria. So we have an evaluation that we can evaluate the potential vendors and then try to choose from among those potential suppliers the best one that will fit the company needs. Um, Also, part of the processing is administering the contract, which is managing the relationship with the selected seller. And then at the end, once we are done with the acquisition, we close the contract, which is completing and settling each contract, including resolving any open items or open issues. The figure in this slide shows a summary of these processes and their classification under the project management areas. If you remember at the beginning, we said that we have the planning, the execution, the monitoring and control, and the closing. So those are the different area, and of course the initiation was the first one to initiate the project. But now with those areas, you can see that the acquisition, we have the processes under those main areas or those main categories. Uh, the planning for purchases and acquisition is the process of identifying which project needs can best be met by using products or services outside the organization. If the company is not buying any products or services from outside the organization, then there is no need to perform any of the other procurement management processes. This only applies if buying a product or a service from outside. Some of the tools and techniques that can be used for planning a purchase or an acquisition could be the make or buy. So one of the examples is the make or buy analysis, which is a technique that can be used to determine whether an organization should make or perform a particular product versus buying the product or the services from someone else. To do that, questions need to be asked for the organization to understand the organization capabilities and to evaluate what the organization have. For example, do we have the skills in-house to perform the IT requirements that we need? Do we have the required equipments to support that? Do we have the money to make it in-house? How much would be the cost compared to outsourcing the goods or services to other vendors? Of course, to judge that, we have external and internal experts that can provide a valuable input on the make or buy decision and evaluate the organization capabilities. Let's look at this example. Assume you can lease an item you need for a project for $800 a day. To purchase the item, the cost will be $12,000 plus a daily operational cost of $400 per day. How long would it take for the purchase cost to be the same as the lease cost? If we set up an equation, so both options, purchase and lease, are equal, to compare them side to side, we can see that 12,000 plus the 400 multiplied by the number of days will equal to 800 by the number of days multiplied by the number of days. And for that, what we are trying to do, we are trying to find the number of days where they will be equal or they will be even. So subtracting 400 multiplied by d from both sides, you get 12,000 is equal to 400 d. Now dividing both sides by the 400, you get d equal to 30 days. So if you need the item for more than 30 days, it's more economical to purchase it. If you need it for less, it's more economical to lease it. And that's the decision for the make or buy based on calculations and the numbers that's been given through the cost. Buying physical parts or services from a vendor requires a contract. In the next session, we will define contracts and we will address the different types of contracts and how they will be evaluated. That will be all for this session. If you have any questions, you can email, call, Skype, or come in person during office hours. Thank you and have a great day.